What up, fam? I'm Dr. De Luna, and you are listening to Drop It Like It's Doc podcast. Today, I have a big announcement, which you might have heard through the grapevine, but there's a baby in here. There's a baby. So now that I'm out of the first trimester, which was a doozy, I am happy to share with you how to survive the first trimester. Thank you for being here, mamas. So, fam, it was a struggle to do just about anything for roughly 3 months, AKA the first trimester. So there was a couple episodes where I was like, am I gonna be able to talk? But also I was sleeping for a few months there. So thank you for being patient as we got our shit together. And by we, I mean me and my baby. Eric's amazing, the producer, but it took me a second to have a brain again, to have a mouth again, to be able to connect those two because wow, growing a baby is not for the faint of heart. No, it is not. And I am currently at the end of my second trimester, which is mind-blowing because that means that I'm about to give birth, essentially. So I am here to tell you all about my pregnancy journey, to talk to you about the first trimester and what came up for me, what comes up with my patients, common signs and symptoms that you may encounter, and also how to survive it, because you're gonna be questioning your survival and your ability to cope with anything during that time. So first of all, I want to just paint a picture for you of me walking into this very room, telling my producer, AKA my best friend Eric, that not only am I late, because I like to make jokes about my period, which for some reason I do, but I feel crazy. I think I said something along those lines, and he looked at me and he's like, "You're pregnant." And I was like, "I'm not pregnant. There's no way I'm pregnant." He's like, "Oh, you're pregnant." My boobs were huge. My boobs were huge. They're still huge. They're amazing. Favorite part of pregnancy right here. But homie was like, "You're pregnant." So we recorded a couple episodes. The whole time in the back of my mind, I'm like, am I pregnant? And baby, close your ears. Baby, close your little ears. I didn't know I was pregnant because I was not necessarily trying to get pregnant. Whoopsies. But, you know, during that time, I was moving. I was unexpectedly moving because lo and behold, I found mold again in my home. Love it. So I unexpectedly was moving, and what I thought was going on was that I had mold poisoning from the move and from the stress. I really thought I did. I remember crying to my partner, being like, "I've never felt like this before. I'm exhausted. My boobs hurt. I'm getting shooting pains in my boobs. I'm just feel horrible." And it turns out that those were the early signs of pregnancy. So I didn't tell that all to Eric. I was just like, I'm unwell. And usually, to be honest, fam, I'm someone that if I'm really stressed, it's not abnormal for my period to be a little late. It's not. I am really good at fucking things up with my mind. So my mind would do that to me. So I really just thought that I was stressed. But no, lo and behold, we walked 2 blocks down to CVS. I have a cute little picture. I used my brother's CVS card and was wondering if he saw that I was buying a pregnancy test. And yeah, beat on a stick in my very own medical practice, Ashira Rose, and we are with child. She is here. She has been born into the space, but she has not been born yet. Truly, she's anchored in here. So some of those early symptoms that I was having were pregnancy symptoms, because the weirdest thing to me when I first started this pregnancy journey was learning, and again, I'm a doctor, and this was even confusing for me, is that week 1 of your baby's life is actually your last menstrual period. Isn't that wild? It's because as your uterus is shedding the lining and the unfertilized egg, your ovaries are trying to do it all up again. So week 3 is technically when that egg gets fertilized, when it meets the sperm. And during week 4, which is right around when you think you'd be getting your period again, the baby is implanting. And what does implantation feel like? It feels like cramps. So every time, and you babes know this, when you think you're getting your period, you're like, oh, it's coming any second. You'll go pee. You're like, okay, I'm gonna sit down. There's gonna be blood. There's just never blood. There was just never blood. And my boobs hurt. I'm like, oh, I must be PMSing like crazy. This is wild to me. I was not PMSing, I was with child. So implantation around week 4 literally feels like you're about to get your period. And some people I know, even some of my dear friends, they would have some implantation bleeding to the point that they thought that that was their period and they didn't even know that they were pregnant. Isn't that wild? I actually didn't have that happen though. But early pregnancy feels almost like the worst PMS ever. And then you usually find out that you're pregnant shortly after that because your period does not come. And of course, you know, there's a lot of different emotions that come with that feeling. I am well aware that for some people, talking about pregnancy is not easy. Getting pregnant is not easy. That even listening to someone else talk about it can be highly emotional and triggering. So I also want to acknowledge that, and I can hold space for that. But usually there's this burst of excitement that there's a life inside of you. And after that swift burst of excitement comes the deepest exhaustion that you have ever felt in your entire life. You truly feel like all the blood has been drained from your body. I fell asleep during a medical conference. I can't sleep in public until now. Now I can sleep anywhere. I actually snored during a yin class in which I am still mortified that my best friend Shay, yes, talking about you, mortified that she did not wake me up because someone in the back of the class was like, oh, I heard a man snoring all class. That was me. That was me snoring all class. I had no idea I went to sleep. I haven't gone back to that class. I will never go back. I am fucking mortified. Because first trimester, you're so tired. You also get congested. So I snore now. It's really beautiful. My partner loves it. He can tell when I'm sleeping because I sound like a 300-pound man. And I also call myself Big Titus now. So if you're wondering who Big T is throughout these next however many episodes until I give birth, it's me. It's me and the baby. We Big Titus. It's just like the energy that we feel now. So yeah, you're exhausted. And also, if you're anything like me, you feel like you're going through puberty again. It's beautiful. Wasn't the first time that you went through puberty just perfect? It's even better the second time you go through because your hormones are raging. Your estrogen is raising, your progesterone is raising, and that can make you feel like not only that you're having the worst PMS ever, but that you want to punch everyone in the face and also cry all the time. So all those things happen. Your partner contemplates if you actually love them anymore, and it's really beautiful and healthy for the dynamic of the relationship. This is obviously me being sarcastic, but I want to normalize all of this for you because I am just a mere human that is going through this for the first time. And I was a werewolf. My sense of smell, early pregnancy symptom again, my sense of smell was out of control. And my sweet partner at the time was quitting smoking cigarettes, which bless his heart and bless this baby because she got daddy to do it sooner. And I love him tremendously, but apparently quitting cigarettes is one of the hardest things you will ever do. I would be able to smell it from miles away. He would open the front door. I would smell just an inkling of cigarettes. I would turn into a werewolf. I actually locked him out of the house once. I literally locked him out of the house. He is such a sweet baby angel. He just giggled. He's like, did you really just lock me out? And I'm like, yes. Pregnancy. Smells get you. They get you good. Yes, they do. I also had a client come in who was wearing cologne and I had to open a window and try not to vomit the entire time because the nausea and vomiting are real. First trimester. I am blessed that I only threw up twice from coconut yogurt. Outside of that, I was just unbearably nauseous. I'm gonna give you solutions for all these things I'm talking about, by the way. Especially things that we can control. There's a lot that we cannot control, but the nausea was absolutely ridiculous. Outside of snoring, I also drool now all the time. That is a very common early pregnancy symptom. I won't even be thinking about food and I'll just drool. I was actually in Pilates last week and I drooled all over. It was kind of embarrassing. It splatted down. The instructor was next to me. I know she saw it. Like, I know she saw it. What's a girl to do? I don't know. I don't know. It's like, I keep saying this too, like, pregnancy is glamorous. It is glamorous. I've never felt more beautiful in my life, truly. Something else that comes along with it is that with these raging hormones, you might break out. I have never had worse acne. I was disgusted, shocked, mortified, embarrassed. It was terrible. And it was this baby and all the hormones from my uterus. Crazy. Because also before like week 10, you are making all the hormones for your baby. And then the placenta takes over. Once the placenta takes over, you're building a new organ. So just think about that. When you're exhausted, you're literally growing a new organ and growing a human inside of you. But once the placenta takes over, you feel so much better. At least I did. I really did. So anything else that I experienced first trimester? I didn't experience this, but you know me. I'll tell you everything about me. Well, I experienced one of the two. I was bloated really early on to the point that I'm like, oh, this is my baby. I can see her. But no, it was just progesterone making me bloated, like what happens before you get your period with some people, because progesterone is skyrocketing. Because what happens is that when you ovulate, what is left behind is called the corpus luteum. It turns into a progesterone factory that will stay there in place until the placenta takes over to make your progesterone. And progesterone slows things down. So it slows down your gut. The reason your body is brilliant, the reason why it's doing this is so that your body has more time to assimilate nutrients. But also when this happens, it can lead to things like heartburn, it could lead to things like bloating, it could lead to things like constipation. So a lot of people that tend towards constipation are not happy during their entire pregnancy, to be honest. I'm a perfect pooper, in case you were wondering. Never been an issue for me. Never been an issue, hopefully never will, except for when I give birth in a bathtub. I really hope I don't poop in there. But it's possible that I do. It's possible. I've already talked to this about my partner, like, good luck. There's probably gonna be shit in the tub. I love you, and the baby will be fine. What other things happen? Estrogen also gets nice and high, so you get plump. Someone told me yesterday that it looked like I had lip filler. I was like, thank you. Thank you so much. It's the baby. Your boobs get huge, your nipples get huge, and they darken, and they're very sensitive. I had to stop dancing, which you know I love, because I couldn't bounce. Sometimes even the steps in my walk would be painful to these ladies. So having something like a supportive bra, which I've never been a fan of ever, because honestly, I never needed one, game changer to you. But estrogen just also makes you nice and emotional. So that was the werewolf that locked my partner outside. We laugh about this all the time now. You have to be able to laugh at yourself. You have to. So if you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, know that welcome to pregnancy, baby. It is a great place to be. It is what you can expect. It's actually signs of a healthy pregnancy. Yes, it is. Some people aren't tired. Some people aren't nauseous. Happy for you, but most of us are. So if you are like me, and if you are tired and exhausted and nauseous and burping, and I'll probably burp throughout this, I hope I do, so that you can hear it. Also, that was the progesterone slowing things down, you know? If you are like that, here are some things that you can do. First of all, I am so aware that food smells disgusting. I am so aware. I am a steak queen. I love steak. First trimester, I was like, get it away from me. I can't smell it cooking. But once it was in my mouth, it was okay. Same with like chicken. All I wanted first trimester was fruit. It was really interesting. I just wanted citrus. I've never eaten more citrus in my life. And you know why? Citrus actually really helps with nausea. So when I was nauseous, first of all, nausea is also a sign of low blood sugar. It really is. So I don't think it's by chance that we get morning sickness more often in the morning, but also let me just say, babes, you can get morning sickness any time of day, day and night. It can happen, but you really need to work on your blood sugar. You need to eat within 30 minutes of waking up. If I didn't eat the second my head lifted from the pillow, literally head up from pillow into the kitchen, my whole day would be fucked. The whole day. The whole day. I would get up, and even if it was slicing up an orange or a nectarine and eating it until I could stomach something else, changed my life. So eating within the first few seconds, minimum 30 minutes before you wake up, or maximum I should say, is key. But then also eating minimum every 2 hours. We're not eating full course meals. First trimester, you're probably unwell and you don't want full course meals, but you need to be eating a little bit of everything every 2 hours, and you need protein. You can't just survive on saltines. You cannot do that. It's just gonna up and drop your blood sugar. You will be unwell. So I would have little protein snacks. I would have hard-boiled eggs or protein sticks or, beef jerky or something in hummus, something that was grounding, but something that I also wanted, because it's really fun in first trimester because you're gonna take a couple bites of something and then be like, this is actually disgusting. I hate this and I never want it again. And then so you need to have some options on hand. Yes, you do. But truly, citrus changed my life. Having Ginger beer changed my life. Having lemonade changed my life. Having like a little juice on hand changed my life, just for blood sugar, but also just what those constituents do to the gut. It's really helpful for digestion. If you are someone that is nauseous, I can almost promise you that you're vitamin B6 deficient. That is a naturopathic doctor's favorite thing and a little secret that we have to help. Also, vitamin B6 is a master for progesterone production, which you need to keep the baby in the womb. So I would recommend supplementing with vitamin B6. Most prenatal vitamins, which I'm about to do an episode on this too, so if you want to get into prenatals, you're going to want to listen and subscribe to this. But most prenatals really don't have much B6, so I would recommend supplementing in addition. You could take anywhere from 25 to 250 milligrams. I take 250 milligrams every day. Really helped for the nausea. You also want to be mindful that you're not anemic, because if you're anemic, the fatigue is going to be way worse. Way worse. This can happen from iron deficiency, but also other B vitamins and things like that. Also, just with the fatigue, babes, someone said this, it was actually on the Healthy as a Mother podcast, Dr. Leah, she's been on this podcast. I love that I just have friends that are amazing doctors. And she was explaining how pregnancy is kind of it's almost like you're exploring the menstrual cycle, but on a more widespread scale. So it's almost like an extended luteal phase. And the luteal phase, for those of you that know that menstruate and cycle, you're tired, your energy goes inward. You feel your brain change immediately. You feel your priorities change. You feel yourself not wanting to give as much because you don't even have anything to give. You're giving it all to the little one. So during that time, if you can, which I'm well aware that not everyone is blessed enough to be able to do this or in a financial position to be able to do this, but you need to do less. And if you can't do less, you just need to carve out time for you to sleep in your car or something like that, because you need to rest. Rest is key to surviving the first trimester. Absolutely. Wow. Some other things that can show up in the first trimester are, just like I said, just feeling your body rapidly change. So being mindful that you're wearing comfy clothes. I basically only wear dresses now and pug shirts. That's my brand now. Dresses and pug shirts. It's the maternity dream for me. I love it. But you don't want to, if you're anything like me, you're not going to fit in your clothes like week 5. I remember some people on apps, they'd be like, you're going to start showing around week like 12. I'm like, bitch, I've been showing. I can't wear any of my clothes. So you can also rent clothes. I just learned about this. You can rent clothes online, like on something like Nuuly, and then you'll have comfy clothes that you don't have to keep forever if you don't want to. Unless you're going to get pregnant again, you know, whatever. To each their own. This is a rented gown. Yes, it is. So if you are really suffering first trimester, I can almost promise you it's because you're not eating enough. And I know that you might be throwing everything up. So maybe something like small meals or getting IVs can be really helpful. Protein is key. If you are vegan, you know kind of where I stand on that. I support that you are eating in alignment with what your body needs, but I would not be surprised if during the first trimester of your pregnancy, you were just hovering above a turkey like I was when I was a vegan, and that you want to put it in your mouth. And you need to listen to those cravings of your body. Your baby is so smart. Your baby is so smart, and they are telling you what you need more of. And if you are not feeling satiated at all, if you are exhausted, you need more protein. And just in general, you're growing a whole new human in there. So you need a lot more protein. Baths for president. We love baths, but homeopathy can also be helpful for a lot of early pregnancy symptoms, because herbs aren't necessarily safe in pregnancy. There's some that are, but I would say err on the side of caution. A lot of herbs are not safe in early pregnancy because they are changing your hormones, or they can make your uterus contract, or can make you shed a uterine lining, all of which you obviously don't want to do when you're having this delicate hormonal dance. But things like homeopathy, very, very safe in first trimester. So it can be a game changer for things like nausea or vomiting, even the fatigue. You can approach it in that way. Not gonna do anything for your boobs though. You enjoy those, they're really fun. They won't hurt forever. They're just gonna hurt in the beginning as they're rapidly growing. You can grow like 2 cup sizes during pregnancy. I can't even tell you how many people are like, sis, your boobs. I'm like, thank you. Thank you so much. It's my daughter. It's a girl, by the way. My queen, my angel. She's resting right now. I think. It's kind of obvious. Second trimester, everything changes. We'll do a second trimester episode too, but I just wanted to start you off and let you know a little bit about my story, that it was really hard. It was really hard. First trimester was one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life. I haven't given birth yet though. I'm well aware of that. Oh, she's up. She's up. She's like, mommy. But anyway, if you just need support during this time, get support. I know a lot of people don't feel comfortable telling anyone that they're pregnant until they kind of hit that second trimester mark. But also, you know, a lot can happen in that first trimester, and you want your tribe on hand, especially mamas that know what you have been through, what you're going through, because they've been there and they can support you. And eat all the lemons. Your baby is actually in the first trimester growing from a poppy seed to the size of a lemon. And your uterus is going from its normal size, sitting below the pubic line, up until, I think it's like a grapefruit. That's a big shift. You're growing a whole new organ, you're growing a placenta. Be gentle with yourself, okay? And also, if you can't do stuff during this time, you just can't do it. And that's fine. It's a time for you. You're gonna feel your brain and your energy just wanting to focus on you and baby. And it's a really beautiful thing. I feel my brain changing by the second. And yeah, here we are, second trimester. So happy that the cat is finally out of the bag, that you know that I'm having a baby girl, that you know that Eric predicted that I was pregnant. He's also available for hire. If you're curious about your fertility, he can tell you about it. He can tell you if you're pregnant, if you're not pregnant. He's a gifted man in many regards. But if you want to learn more about pregnancy or prenatal care or preconception, this is your podcast. We talk a lot about that, because also it's not like you're going to be detoxing and doing a lot of heavy duty stuff while you're pregnant. You are just focusing on building a new life. So even if you're in the preconception phase, please like and subscribe to this podcast and listen back to previous episodes, because there is a wealth of information on here to help you have a perfect little babylina. I love her so much already. She's so cute and perfect. And she'll be on one day. She'll be the star. She'll be the star. But I'll see you all soon. Thanks for being here. I hope that you didn't puke during this episode if you're in your first trimester. I'm astounded that I didn't burp during this episode, to be honest, because that's all I did. I didn't even drool. Look at me. I love you all so much. See you soon.